This video will help explain what information we do and do not hold about property boundaries and what HM Land Registry services are available. We are all familiar with boundaries because we see them every day. Our own property will probably have some kind of physical boundary structure, such as a fence, hedge or wall that separates it from neighbouring properties. But this isn't necessarily the same as the legal boundary, which is an invisible line dividing one person's property from another, and which may or may not coincide with a physical boundary feature. Unfortunately, conveyancing deeds rarely define where a legal boundary is, even if there are plans attached to them. Sometimes these plans are based on historic detail, and often they are provided for identification purposes only. A conveyancing or deed plan may refer to measurements, but as the land in question may not be level, and there is often no information about where and how it was measured, these have to be interpreted. For these reasons, in England and Wales, the vast majority of HM Land Registry title plans are created on the basis of general boundaries, rather than precise legal boundaries. The title plans we provide are therefore intended to be a general pictorial representation of the boundaries in registered property or land, not a guarantee of their measurements. What can HM Land Registry tell you about boundaries? When registering a property for the first time, we create a title plan using an extract from the latest version of the Ordnance Survey map. We prepare the title plan as accurately as possible, indicating the general boundaries of the property or land with red edging. These general boundaries may relate to physical features on the ground, such as walls, fences, hedges, roads and rivers, shown by black lines on the Ordnance Survey map. Where no such physical feature exists, we plot the boundaries onto the title plan. It is important to note that depending on when it was registered, your title plan might not be based on the current edition of the Ordnance Survey map. It will be based on the Ordnance Survey map available at the time and might therefore show historic rather than actual detail. In this example, we can see that some detail on the current edition varies to the older edition, such as the shape of the buildings. Additionally, map scales can account for differing detail on title plans. As such, different editions of the map may show the same feature in a slightly different place. In this example, we have two houses, number 15 and number 17. The older edition of the Ordnance Survey map shows the boundary running between number 15 and number 17, projecting off the garage belonging to number 15. The scale used is 1 to 2500, whereas the latest edition of the Ordnance Survey map shows that there is a gap between the garage belonging to number 15 and the boundary separating the two properties. The scale used here is 1 to 1250, which will show more precise detail. Differences can occur for other reasons and may be resolved by further investigation into the title deeds, the Ordnance Survey map, or by surveying the property or land. Therefore, you can see why the title plan cannot be used to establish the exact position of the boundaries with any degree of precision. It simply is not designed for that purpose. Overall, once a title plan has been prepared, it will not be routinely updated. With over 24 million registered titles in England and Wales, it would not be feasible to replace title plans to account for new map detail in every new revision of the Ordnance Survey map. Can HM Land Registry tell me who is responsible for a boundary on my property? We receive a lot of inquiries from members of the public about the boundaries of their properties. In many cases, we do not hold records about who is responsible for them, as this information is not always included in the title deeds used to create the register of a property. However, if the property is registered, you can check to see if we do have any information about its boundaries. You can look at the register entries, title plan, and registration deeds or any other documents we may have on file for the property you are interested in. You can obtain a copy of your register and title plan for a small fee via our Search for Land and Property Information service on gov.uk or via post. If we do hold information about the property boundaries, you may come across a register entry that looks like this. The entry refers to T-marks. These are the most common method of indicating on a conveyancing plan who owns and/or is responsible for a particular boundary feature. Additionally, T-marks may appear on HM Land Registry title plans, but this is a much rarer occurrence. Generally, the T-mark extends into one or other of the properties. The T-mark normally extends into the property which owns the boundary feature or who is responsible for its maintenance. Sometimes entries do not refer to T-marks and give only a verbal description as to who owns and/or is responsible for a boundary feature. Alternatively, you may come across entries referring to documents as being copy filed. This means that we hold a copy of that document and you'll have to read it to see if there is any relevant information about boundaries. It's possible that there may be no information on boundaries for the property within the documents. To see copies of any filed deeds and documents, you will need to fill in a deeds request form, OC2, and post it to us with the small fee required.
Send your letter, along with all supporting documents and evidence, to HM Land Registry, Citizen Centre, at our standard address for applications, which you'll find on our website, gov.uk. Simply type HMLR address into your browser.
Alternatively, a conveyancer could complete an OC2 form on your behalf. You'll find more information on the Get Information About Property and Land page on gov.uk. The link to this page is www.gov.uk/get information about property and land /search the register. Here you'll find links to relevant forms too. Many people believe there are standard presumptions in relation to responsibility for boundaries. For example, the suggestion that an owner will always be responsible for the boundaries on the right or on the left as viewed from the front of the property. However, despite this being a common misconception, there is no legal basis for any of these presumptions. Can HM Land Registry help with other boundary matters? Unfortunately, we cannot resolve or provide answers to boundary issues that fall outside our responsibility. These include planning permissions, overhanging branches and high hedges, drains and sewers, noise complaints, and rubbish dumping. You can get information about these issues from Citizens Advice or your local council. Additionally, we cannot help you resolve boundary disputes or provide legal advice. HM Land Registry has no power to enforce any agreements relating to boundaries. HM Land Registry's main role is to keep an accurate register of interest in land, so that the public have easy access to reliable information about land ownership and related interests, which supports the buying and selling process. If you need help, you can contact the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors, RICS, which operates a mediation service with the Property Litigation Association to resolve issues around boundaries between neighbours. RICS also provides a list of surveyors who can assist in boundary disputes. For legal advice, you should consider seeing a solicitor. The Law Society website has a Find a Solicitor tool, which you may find useful. This can be found at https://solicitors.lawsociety.org.uk. Where can I find further help? See our online boundaries guide on gov.uk for further help with common boundary matters. The guide will help you find out if we can help with your boundary inquiry, how to access and interpret any information we hold, what your options are when we are unable to help, and how to correct a mistake on your title plan. You can find this helpful guide and a variety of others at www.gov.uk/guidance/contact HM Land Registry. For information about how to read your title register and title plan, visit www.gov.uk/government/publications/how to read a title register and title plan. Thank you for watching. We hope you found it useful.